starts to sound a little more legit if we get up a little faster here. Something like that. That's at 150 though. It starts to sound a little bit more legit at 150. But I've got the song, it's done, I finished it. It is finished. Flipping off the parents. So, you asked for it, you got it. Let's see, I can move this over. The gardener's out there making a bunch of noise, so just waiting for him to finish. Ed, good to see you. Drew, John, what's going on? No Bruce, I hope he's okay. Jeff Hook, good to see you. Streetwise, good to see you again. You know what's really good? These. Sorry if I'm making you fall, but let's see. Dang it, it's too bright. It's too much light. There we go. Let's see if I get the shade on. Stroopwafels. Stroopwafels. I first had them on a United Airlines flight. And it's funny because I remember flying somewhere, it probably was Louisville. I don't really fly too many places lately, well, especially lately. Oh, I did go to Tulsa in September. But somewhere I was flying to somewhere, and they handed those out at United. I was like, what is this magic disc? It's like a waffle filled with caramel. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And hey, Bruce, good. I was worried. I'm glad you're okay. And so I'm talking about Stroopwafels. There, hey, you can see it now. Look at that. These are mini ones. Get these at Trader Joe's if you have a Trader Joe's near you. In Europe, probably no problem to get them. In Holland, that's where they're from technically. And so I remember flying on a flight, and they gave me one, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And I have this thing I do when I fly is I usually pick up some candy or something. I used to get McDonald's fries and give it to the flight attendants when I boarded. Now I buy a box of candy or something like that. And I just do it just to be nice because it's kind of a somewhat thankless job. And I don't expect anything in return. And usually that's the case, but sometimes you know, I've been pulled up into first class for giving them a box of chocolates. Hey, first class is empty. You go sit up there, you know. Or I've been given bottles of wine. I've been given free meals. They'll let me hang out, like, if, you know, you're not supposed to hang out, like, because I get tired of sitting all that time if it's a long flight. They'll let me hang out, like, in the back and talk and chit-chat and stuff like that. So, and you know me, I can chit-chat. So anyway, I, you know, on the flight home, wherever I was going, they handed me one of those waffle things. And again, keep in mind, I had given them a box of chocolate. They handed me one of those waffle things, the Stroopwafels. Stroopwafels. Okay, these are the mini ones. And great with coffee. And they, Beth got these at TJ Maxx. Interesting. Okay. I said, oh man, these things are magical. I love these things so much. I don't want to get some. And hey, it's good. Try pentatonic scales. In fact, if you just go back to last week, 2 weeks ago lesson. So this is this week's lesson. Major scales and mixolydian scales we're doing. We did major blues, and before that we did major pentatonics. I would learn those. Start learning major pentatonics. And then these are the major scales. So you asked. And so as we were getting ready to leave the flight, they're like, we're getting ready to land. One of the flight attendants brings me a bag full of these things. I mean, she must have brought me 50 of these. She goes, yeah, we're getting ready to get a new shipment of a different thing to hand out. So we have to get rid of these. And she gave me like 50 of these. And they were pretty big. They were like this size, And I'm like, and they didn't last very long in my house. And so I, not because of anybody but me, I'm just saying. So when we went to Holland, I actually did some research, and the original manufacturer of the original creator of the Stroopwafel is in Holland, in Amsterdam. So Beth and I walked over there one day. It was not too far from the Rijksmuseum. I touched my face so we can take a sip. Need more coffee. And we walk over there, and it was like a big street market kind of vibe, and they're selling them on the street. And they were like about this big. And they were kind of soft, which is nice, because these are firm. And they were kind of soft, but they were messy and sticky. And I'm very fastidious. I don't like getting my hands sticky because I play guitar. And so it was kind of like, okay, well, I prefer the fake ones. So, Dennis, you know what I'm talking about, right? Dennis, have you been to the first place that made these in Amsterdam? The original Stroopwafel? Maybe it's a common thing all over the place. There's a place in Amsterdam by the Rijksmuseum that claims to be the original. So I wrote "Flipping Off Your Parents." I'm just listening to it now. It's not bad, I mean, I've played many much worse exercises. Let's put it that way. There have been a lot of. Thanks, Bruce. Oh no, cracked her hip. Uh-oh. Not do anything till Monday. Why? Everything's closed until Monday. Boy, bummer, Dennis. We'll pray for Mrs. Mom. Yeah, Stroopwafel. Yeah, Dennis knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, but the place that actually, the place that sold them on the street, that was like, they had the sign that said, "We're the original Stroopwafel," which you never know. It's like a scene in Elf where it says, "Home of the world's greatest cup of coffee." And Will Ferrell goes in, "Congratulations." And they're like, "What?" So anyway, the original Stroopwafel, so we went and got them, and they were messy and soft, and they tasted great. But it was a lot to eat. I mean, I bought 2 of them. And like, Beth is not big on a lot of sugar, so it was like, oh my gosh. I think we threw about half of it away. Sadly. Wish you could have it right now. So I wrote this Flipping Off the Parents. And I was going to do a bracketing thing where I go, okay, we're G major here and G mixolydian here. But you can actually, in the music tab, you can't so much, but in the music you can tell, which is another reason why I kind of like music. You can tell when it's happening. If there are no natural signs or, accidentals for the F, turning the, and I'll show you, but yeah, you can see that right there, the C chord, the second bar, the second full bar, in the C chord, the 4th note is an F natural. You can see that little what's called a natural sign in front of that F. So if you see that, you know you're at that point you're in the key of G mixolydian, which is relative to the key of C major. By the way, same notes as C major. The prior measure to that, is there an F sharp? There's not even an F sharp in there, so but the very pickup has an F sharp. So you're in the key of G major until you get to the second bar, and then you're in the key of G mixolydian. I kind of, we go back and forth. In fact, a lot of times when I'm playing over the G, I'm playing G mixolydian, but then later, G major, but then later over G, I'm playing some G, like here, I go ahead and bring in that F natural against the G, which creates the blues sound, that chord sound, which is a great sound. It's much more bluegrass than the major 7. I mean, you couldn't be any, like I said Monday, you couldn't be any less bluegrass than G major 7. It's like the anti-bluegrass chord. In fact, it should be I should have ended on. It's like it's like almost makes your flesh crawl. So we do it. Hey Gary, good to see you. So who else do we have here? Becker's here. Good to see you, Becker. And Sam, always, and Bob Schumann. Paul Meyer, my old friend. Let's see. Hey Paul, how come you're not like chief of staff to the President of the United States? You underachieving Northview junior high attender. Charlie B, good to see you. Who else? Holly, of course, Holly's here. I don't want to take that for granted. Let's see. It's kind of nice being the only girl in a room, right, Holly? At this point, that's all I'm... Oh, Margaret's here. Oh, sorry, Margaret. Oh, and John Kindon. Good to hear. Good to see you, man. D-Roo, John Kindon's been here from the get-go. Okay. Oh, we already got 25. That's pretty good for this early. So I'm going to do little screen grabs of this song. I can talk about what I'm doing, but I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it again. I'll play the track. I'm going to set the track at 100, just the standard, but then I'll speed it up to 150, just so you can hear kind of how it sounds a little bit more bluegrassy. All right. I'm going to try to get this here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to speed it up to 150. By hitting the 1.5. It gets quieter when you do that, which is weird. 1, 2, 3. I messed up. it's it gets. I mean, bluegrass is a pretty high octane song form, so it sounds more bluegrassy the faster you play. A lot of bluegrass to me too sounds like classical music. A lot of the phrasing, and because oftentimes it was played originally by a lot of the songs were written by fiddle players. I think there's probably that connection to classical music. I'm sure when they first picked up the fiddle, they were taught classical pieces, and then they transitioned into folk music. A lot of folk musicians are good classical musicians too. In fact, there's a lot of folk pieces that have been turned into classical songs. So, I mean, Mozart did it. So musically, you can. The idea is to, and maybe without the track playing, you can hear better. I don't know. Let's see. Anybody? Yeah, I know it's 87,000 and hauling right now. 87,000 with a bullet. My channel analytics are pretty good. Fresh. Yeah, I'm getting over 15,000 views per 48 hours, which normally it's around 9 to 11. So that's good. Again, 7 Tips for Older Beginners is on fire. Becky, keep it up. Yeah, you never know. Trust me, it's one video that did it, and I don't know how somebody promoted it. And I think that's what happened here too. It gets on somebody's blog or something or somewhere. Like I told you, he's not. Hey, Peter, good to see you. He's not here, but one of my subscribers suggested or recommended me. Remember, I told you about that. He recommended me on Reddit, and I went from 800 subscribers to 1,200 subscribers in one day, or maybe I went up 800 in a day. I can't remember. It was a big jump, and it was like, how come this guy isn't more known? And it was and I was trending for a week on the guitar, the / guitar part of Reddit, subreddit. I guess they say Pepper. Sheet music. This I used Finale, which. I think they have free versions. I don't know if you can do all the things that I did. I actually pay for mine. If I were to start today, never having done it, I think I would use Sibelius. I think Sibelius is like this, I think. Yes, I know, Pat. Yeah, no, B Kitty. Yeah, somebody mentioned that on Monday. I did. It's funny because I didn't see it on any of my feeds, but I'm not on social media very much, so it's all I can do to get up on Facebook and make sure that I kind of reply to some of the comments on my YouTube channel Facebook page. Muse score. Okay, thank you, Becker. Yeah. So. And Becker, can you do tab on it too? I find it's great though, be able to look at just I'm getting my windows all messed up. Here we go. Just again, writing music is a great way to learn how to read music, and you don't necessarily have to be very good at reading music to write it. I certainly, a perfect case and example is I could sit down right now and write a bunch of music that I could never in a million years play, let alone sight read. So it just shows you, it's just like, it's just like writing a novel, I guess. I don't know, but it may not make any sense to anyone, but you could write a bunch of words together. And the same thing with the software. But yeah, so and I don't know, Becker, I wonder if you can reverse engineer it and write out the tab first and then drag it up. So basically what I do is I write the music out in this software. This is how it works, okay? And then you highlight the music. There's no tab. It's all empty. And you just highlight it and then drag it down and it automatically tabs it and says, what bar do you want to be the lowest bar? And for some reason, because guitar is written up an octave, for some reason, it did it right this first time, because usually what happens when I do that is like it knocks it down an octave. I'm like, no, because it's written, but this time it did it right, and I'm not sure why. I didn't change anything. So anyway, but that, yeah, B Kitty or Becker, did you? Yeah, tab 2. Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. You use Sibelius as a pro, yeah. If you're not doing pro stuff, yeah, Muse. And I remember Muse. I think I downloaded it at some point, but because it wouldn't do some of the stuff I needed it to do, I just deleted it. I had to and one of the things, it wouldn't open up old Finale charts, and I have a lot of my classical music written out in Finale, and the drag was, like one update wouldn't, at one point it wouldn't transfer over because I didn't update for so long. So it wouldn't open, and I had to buy a new version or something. I forget. Anyway, built-in obsolescence. I've since printed all that stuff if I need to. The other thing you can do, I've never done it, but I hear you can actually scan music, like even handwritten music, and import it into Sibelius and Finale. And it's not going to be perfect, but you can make corrections at that point. So that's kind of cool. Oh, that's awesome. You kidding? Well, I'm kind of embarrassed to be sitting here playing any semblance of bluegrass. I mean, it's funny because I even put in my jam track, it says, doesn't it say, bluegrass in quotes? And yet I get people saying, it's not bluegrass. I said, I know, that's why I put it in quotes. They say, there's no drums in bluegrass. Yeah, I know. It's just, the idea is to, and I think there's drums in bluegrass sometimes. It just depends. But, and Pepper's here. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, yeah, don't forget to like this. You can do it. Hey, Louisiana. Welcome you back. You're welcome. Okay, so in the music of this, you'll hear there are times when I go between major and minor, and you can really, I mean, not major and minor, major and mixolydian, and you can really hear it. When it gets a little bit on the kind of stanky side, you want to make a little bit of a stink face, or when it gets a little darker or bluesier, that's when it's jumped to mixolydian. You can almost always tell, and then happy, a little bit more unsure or whatever, unsettling a little bit. And and I'm going to show you this in a second. I actually have mixolydian and major in the same 2-beat phrase. So I'm going to the F, which is part of the mixolydian, to E, to D over the D chord. But I'm still in D major. So then I hit the F sharp to get to do, oh yeah, I used air quotes. Thanks, Paul. Good catch, Paul. Oh, everybody. Oh, I like how you put the sip in quotes. Yeah, nice. The sip in quotes. I still love how Joey uses air quotes. I'm sorry. No, that's not how you use air quotes. Okay, so the F sharp is a leading tone to the G, right? So when you go from D, the strongest moment is that F sharp, ba, 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 right? And so I bring that back. So there's a really strong resolution there. And then, so I'm just going up there on that third phrase, the third stave, and we'll get to it in a second. Hey, Kennepat, what's going on from the UK? Welcome. With the when I do that moment in the melody, I'm playing just a basic snippet of the G major scale. D, E, F sharp, G, and then I come down the F natural. And so there's a really strong moment where you hear the shift from G major to G mixolydian to create that bluegrass kind of vibe. Yes, he is still Joey, even on the new show. It's funny. I'll tell you, where's Holly? Holly, have you started episodes yet? He's awesome in the show episodes, and episodes, all 6 seasons are up on Netflix, I believe. Everybody here at home is binge watching The Office on Netflix because it's being taken off of Netflix as of the end of the year, so it's kind of sad. And I really, oh, cool, Kittipack, that's great. Yeah, and again, I'm not a bluegrass player. We're kind of learning this together. So, I mean, I've played bluegrass at it for my whole life. I've even played what did I play? Banjo in a bluegrass band. Just some friends, old guys that were just like, hey, let's do a bluegrass thing. And none of us were any good, but it was fun. And mostly played slow, not too fast, crazy stuff. But it was a lot of fun trying to keep up on the banjo, keep up on the songs. And we played the Sawdust Festival in Laguna Beach a couple times, which was fun. Just for friends would show up and watch us. We'd be over, and literally there is sawdust everywhere in that place. No, I do not mean that. No, that series only lasted two seasons. The Office in the U.S. lasted 9 seasons. Pretty hilarious. I do like Ricky Gervais, but I haven't watched. I maybe watched one episode of The Office, the UK version. But at that point, I wasn't really into The Office, the American one. But I've been watching it with my daughter and my wife, and every now and then I go out there and I'm sitting down and they're watching, and it's pretty stinking funny, especially later, because originally when the whole premise is this kind of like when is this documentary going to come out? They've been filming for 9 years, but the premise is kind of awkward, and sadly, I kind of empathize with Michael. So I feel like I'm the Michael character in my life. so I'm him always saying stupid things. And so I feel like, this feels like they're attacking me. So, all right. So I'm going to start. So this is the tune that I wrote for this week's lessons. And we're basically, this week's lessons, Kennepack, if you go back, this is lesson 156. On various subjects that I started when COVID lockdowns in California started. So, but if you go back, this is the 4th week now we've done bluegrass. We started out, I just showed you the major scale, and we just kind of did some playing, and I wrote a song. In fact, I have all of them right here. I do. That week that I wrote the song, Dennis's uncle passed away, his favorite uncle passed away, and I said, can I name this song after him? So it's called Uncle Jan's Reel. Reel is just a word for, good morning, Tony. Reel is just another word for song or tune or melody or whatever. Or jig, another word for jig. And so I wrote that, and this is just in key of G, and maybe we should do it, at some point I could do it, like play through them all. And then I did we started working on the next week, we started doing pentatonics. 3 different major pentatonics over the 3 different chords, and so I wrote I see I have to aim it this way to get away from the light. We did that. So if you go back 2 weeks, you'll see 3 lessons on the pentatonics, okay? And then this is the song I wrote called Pent Up, which kind of plays into the whole coronavirus lockdowns, and then. This one, Inigo Montoya from Rancho Cucamonga, was the pentatonics with some blues notes added. So there's a lot more accidentals on this, a lot more flats and sharps and naturals in this one. And then, yeah, I'm in California. It's all right. I chose to live here. I moved here. And then the new one for this week is Flipping Off the Parents. And if you want to know the reason for the title as well, the pen up is, but it gets explained in the week if you watch those messages. So, and then Bruce and some of the others have generously gone in there and said the lesson actually starts here. So you don't have to, if you don't want to put up with this banter to people that aren't live at the time. I'm sure when you're watching this later, and people watch them later, and I totally get that. I do it too. I watch, Rick Beato, and he's looking at questions and stuff. But you can load the live chat usually. I make it so it's available. I would hate to not have it there because I'm referencing it so much of the time. Oh shoot! I put this down because I've got to scan. So I'm going to scan these the 4 different staves. Okay, and we learned a few weeks ago that this is a stave. Okay, this is one stave, this is a second stave, so there's 4 staves on this page. Okay, you could also think of them as phrases, because I actually do, each one of these staves lasts, you know, it's 4 bars, and each phrase is 4 bars. So I'm going to do one grab. So I'm just doing a bunch of screen grabs here. Ah, shoot, I don't like that one. Go away. Trash. All right, I got to go a little higher up, get the chords in there. There we go. There's one. And if you want to know how to do a targeted screen grab on an Apple computer, it's Command-Shift-4. So I'm always like learning new things, and if you don't know that, Command-Shift-3 does a screen grab, but Command-Shift-4 does a little target, and then you left click at a starting point and drag to the other corner and let go. It takes a bit of skill. One more. This one's okay. It's a little close to the top on this one, but it's okay. All right, now close that. I'm going to go to the desktop and drag those over into this folder so I have them here. So, and that's where they'll be. All right. All right, so now all I do is I go over here, grab the screen grab, drop it here, and then, come on. There we go. I know you like it when it's over my face, but so this is the first phrase of flipping off the parents. And what I want you to notice is the accidentals. Notice the second bar and the fourth bar. There's those F naturals. That weird looking sign is a natural sign. At the beginning of the bar is an F sharp. So the song is technically in the key of G. So I put an F sharp. You know, that's the key signature. That's the key signature for the key of G. 1. Hey, Sham, what's going on, man? Oh, shoot. And I ordered a Greek bouzouki yesterday. I've got a tuba coming. Tumbi. I got a tumbi coming. Oh. Yeah, sorry, Louisiana. It won't let me show you your link. Apologize. Oh, you know what? I'll do this. There we go. That works. All right. So with that key signature, the way you read that is that sharp sign up in the very upper left-hand corner of that screen grab right there. That F sharp carries forever. Okay, carries all the way through the song. So that's why you need to put the natural signs. And those natural signs are only good, or any accidentals you add are only good to the end of the bar that they're in. Okay, and that's standard notation rules. So all right, that's the phrase. It starts with the F sharp. G, F sharp, E, D. That's the pickup. And remember, the pickup is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. Okay? 1, 2, 3. That's called a pickup. So this is kind of like a running start into the phrase, right? I could start here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? But this is 1, 2, 3. Now, I wanted to do this. And I'm going to show it to you anyway because I think it's kind of fun. And so, Holly, we can use our third finger instead of our pinky here. Okay. I'm basically... yeah, I know, right? See, yeah, Jan, same thing. Yeah, my parents are gone too, so I am the one getting flipped up. But I like, so you could play it like that. Open G to 4th fret to 2nd fret to open. That would be as written. Or you could go up to here, like slide into that. Okay, you can slide up to that 5th fret and get the G there instead of open. And then come down 4, 2, open. and then what I'm doing is I'm hitting that G string with it, so I get that dissonance. I get to use it, that minor second, the third, and the fifth, fourth. Kind of like if I was doing the right, the Beatles. One singer is going singing the melody, the other one's just singing the high E, and that's kind of what's happening here. You've got what I call static harmonies, where you got one note staying the same and the other one's moving. So you could start the whole song like that. So then I just do a. So it's very pentatonic. Okay, I'm starting on the open D. So this is the first bar, the G chord bar. Open D, second fret, open G, second fret A, back to open G, back to E, open D, and then to B. And that B note leads really nice to that C note, which is the root of the C chord. Okay, so I'll go. And that's how you want to practice these phrases. You could go, like. All right. And then work on the next phrase. Okay, and then try to do it. So you can see I tried to create a little mini theme, kind of a wave and a similar wave. So wave over the G melodically and a C, and then the G, the next wave is a little bit higher and then comes down and it finishes in the D. So again, thematically, I'm trying to create, and some of this happens naturally when you're writing, and some of it happens with forethought. And the next phrase down, the second stave we're going to get to, is definitely one that I had maybe more forethought. I wanted to show you kind of a fun, I wanted to show you some kind of fun picking thing that somebody was asking, hey, are you going to use open strings and higher notes and things like that? We're not quite there yet, but this is kind of a precursor to that, where you can kind of see that stuff's coming. So, is Pepper taking off? Okay, see you on Friday, Pepper. You're probably already gone. By the time I get the message, it's too late. All right, and that's not a new rule, Gary. And when Pepper leaves, we all take a drink. That would just be mean. Okay, so again, that first phrase, D, G, A, G, E, D, B leads to C. And here's where we're getting ready to get to the first instance of the mixolydian. D, third fret, open, second fret, third fret. Okay, go play Roblox. And hit the open A. And then land on the B. So C, D, E, F natural, E. Okay, so that's the first time you hear the. And when you've already got this G nat or the F sharp in your head, it's already there. That should sound like a foreign note, right? It's because it's out of the key technically. But what we're creating there is that the C sus, which is a beautiful sound. I love sus chords, right? Really, really fun. Can I play some flamenco? Maybe later. Remind me if you're still around at the end of the lesson. Maybe I can try to play some flamenco. Again, that's one of those song forms that I would love to learn. If I had another life, I might spend it learning flamenco music guitar. Although then I might starve too. I don't know. So I'm kind of a jack of all, master of none. Out of necessity to make a living. So, okay. And so the next phrase, C, D, E, F, E, D, C. I go to open A, so that I'm setting up the B, okay? You see what I did? And then again, we're right back to doing really a pentatonic phrase. Very, 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 very pentatonic. So I'm 2nd fret on the 5th string, then open D, 2nd fret on the D string, open G, 2nd fret, open B, and then backwards to the 2nd fret of the G string, open, and then we're gonna get this. Okay, and that's over the D chord, which has an F sharp, and yet we're playing an F. We're playing an F natural, and they're in the melody. We're actually down low. Why does that work? Again, because we might call this at this moment. This is not bluegrass; it's bluesgrass. So, because we're bringing blues elements in by playing that flat 3. We did that last week when we added the. Oh shoot! Sorry, I got the wrong. Oh man, I got the wrong. Did somebody? Probably you've been yelling at me that I got the wrong scales up. Let me delete this here. Hold on a second. Hilarious. I was on last week's lesson. Remove. All right. Go to this week's lesson. Now I'm going to drag that in. Oh, I should. Dennis, can you put the Discord up, or do you want me to do that? Take care, Becker. Good to see you, as always. Hopefully I caught you before you left. All right, so this is what we were just looking at. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so that's the whole phrase. So again, when you want to practice this, you go, and then the next phrase, and then put those two together. And then practice the next phrase. Or you can continue on if you want. Now, the other thing you could do on this, just for fun on the D, is slide up to that D. And that might be something where you'd be like, you all of a sudden start playing some licks up here. You use it as kind of a transition. You could do that if you're going to stay in here, which is what we're going to do. Or if you wanted to go up, if you were going to go up to, you're going to go to G licks for the next bar up here in the 3rd fret. You might use that slide as a way to get you to that next position. That's a lot of the reasons why we use slides. Okay. All right. So that's the first phrase. And you can find this. Oh, Dennis, did you? Oh, thank you, Dennis. You can find that. You can find that song. I uploaded it. Actually, did you guys see it? Who saw it last night? I actually put it up. Yeah, I'll thank you, Bruce. I'll get to that the flamenco thing here in a second. I don't really. Oh, I gotta warm up my right hand. But you can download this PDF for free and print it up and have one in front of you if you want. Okay. But in the meantime, I'm just doing these little grabs here. All right. So now I've got to delete this and bring in a new grab. Remove. Yes. All right. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this series. I'm having fun writing the music. Not really having fun hanging out with you guys, but the music part, no, I'm just kidding. Just giving me grief. I love hanging out with the little people. Well, I mean, how many, boy, this sounds pretty elitist, but how many of you have been to Versailles in Paris, or outside of Paris? I'm sure you have, Dennis, right? You've been to Versailles. Of course, it's funny because you're like, no, actually, I never have. I don't know if you have. The funny people are like, oh, you've been to Grand Canyon. I've never been to Grand Canyon. Well, you've been to Yosemite. No, I've never been to Yosemite. You know, all the places I've not been in America, especially even on the West Coast. At Versailles, the grounds are, freaking amazing. I mean, huge grounds, and there's another little petite mansion. I think Le Petit Mansion or something. And then there's also the village that's off in the corner where Marie Antoinette would dress up as a peasant and pretend to be one of the little people, and they would have everybody. It was basically just actors, and I think it was an actual working village, you know, with a mill and everything. But Dennis, you've never been to France. Isn't that interesting? Well, let's see. I've never been to Idaho, so probably no different. Yeah, yeah. So Versailles is insane. And you know, one little tip, you can do is because it's crowded, right? Usually, well, not now because of COVID and all that garbage. So many places are going completely unvisited for a whole year. Oh, like the background tracks? Thank you, Dennis. Oh, you want me to post that? I can post. Let me post the background track that I was jamming to earlier, and you can always. You can always slow it down and speed it up, which is so cool. So if it's too fast, you can put it at 75, and then it won't be 100 beats per minute. It'll be 75, or 0.75. It'll be 75 beats per minute. What? No. Okay. And then I don't know if you saw, I've got different shirts, and you know, I've got different colors now. So I think you can get white on. I changed the font too. So if you want to get shirts, and there's also. See, I can pin this. I'm not sure why you would wear it, what in context you would wear this shirt. It would be very dangerous to wear that shirt. Basically, the shirt version of, there won't be a quiz on this. So, all right. So the second phrase, the second stave of the song is going to be almost, yeah, I do this thing where I'm basically copying and playing the same yeah, you've been to Spain but never been to Oklahoma. Now I've been to Oklahoma and I've been to Spain. So I've been to both, but I don't think I've been to Vermont or New Hampshire or Maine. Been to Massachusetts, Connecticut, Delaware, Rhode Island. Yeah, I've been to a lot of states. Not South Carolina. I've probably been to North Carolina, maybe to the airport, but I don't remember. But I copy the first two bars of this phrase that the next thing because I want some thematic redundancy for the sake of making songs sound familiar. It's a trick songwriters use to breed familiarity in the listener. Okay, so this little thing is also. Oh, sorry. And it's a cool lick. I think it's better, you know, at a higher tempo. It's still kind of a cool sounding thing. It's almost Bach-like. It almost sounds like a Bach invention of some kind. But over the G. You get that, again, that F nat. It's amazing how powerful music is. Music is manipulation. I've always said that. I always say, look, it's about tension and release, right? And so we're creating a little bit of tension by going to this F natural note. And it's just beautiful, you know. I like it better in the context with the chord, too. Isn't that cool? So, but, and Holly, you don't have to use your pinky. I was actually using my third finger a lot of times when I was grabbing that F sharp. So you can go third finger, open G, first. Actually, I might go like this: third finger, first finger, open, second finger, third finger. Kind of reposition myself. Again, kind of, it's kind of like the Boy Scouts motto: "Be prepared." Right? You want to get your hand in a position where you're prepared for the next thing. You're kind of getting ahead of yourself a little bit and go, and that's how you learn the fingering. That's very, very true in classical guitar music. When you, and maybe that's the next thing we'll do, and because you can play classical on electric guitar, steel string guitar, whatever. We could maybe kind of work through Carcassi method or something a little bit. Might be kind of fun. So take a break, little buddy. Exactly. Okay, that's what's coming. So, so again, so the way we can do this is 4th fret, open G. So you'll notice that in those first 2 bars, half of the notes are the open G. You see, 50% of the notes are open G string, okay? Insert junior high joke here. Okay, so 3rd finger on the 4th fret, I guess. Open G, 2nd fret, open G, open D, open G, back to that. So you just practice that. Careful, Dennis. Okay, and then actually here we're going to go 3rd fret, open, so that's the F, and that's the note that's going to be like, what? But you like it. It's like, wait, what? But I like it. It's kind of weird. F, natural, E, D, C. We're just going down the C scale. Or G mixolydian scale if you want. Actually, it's more apropos to the lesson. And then that, I hit the G, and then it sets us up for that. You could even just go. Okay, now this is going to be maybe the trickiest moment of the whole song, but basically we're going to go back to our G pentatonics. I'm doing a lot of G major pentatonic here. So we have the B note here, 2nd fret of the 5th string, then open D, 2nd fret of the D string, and an open G. And then 3rd fret, 2nd fret, open. Okay, so. And again, we don't have to use our pinky there. We can just take our 3rd finger and go to F sharp. And again, that creates that really strong 5-to-1 tonality. By 5, I mean D is the 5 chord. Okay, look at the G major scale up at the very top, right here. Right here. Okay? Count up the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 5th note is D. So that's the 5 chord. The chord built on that 5th note of the scale is called the 5 chord. It's true of any key. D root. Let's see. Are you trying to maintain the chord shape, or do you just grab the notes and hammer as they? Sometimes, yeah, some players do that where they have the shape and it's kind of a way of playing rhythm and lead at the same time. If you know what I mean, kind of like being your own rhythm guitar player. But yeah, and having that G string rings out, and you can even hit the open B string too on this, you know. You know, you can it can get a little messy sometimes with bluegrass because you know you've got so many open strings and everything is good. You know, if you're playing a key, and a lot of times you'll notice if the song's in A, they just capo at the 2nd fret and they play all the same exact scales, but just up 2 frets with the capo. So, oh, that's funny. Yeah, Sham, it's funny. Well, I mean, you know a lot of Indian music, so I could play a lot of things that would probably remind you of Indian, you know, an Indian song, huh? Where nothing reminds me of an Indian song because I don't know any Indian music. And this is also that moment in the chord progression right here, okay, where we go G, 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 okay? So we kind of I had to melodically navigate that. And so the way I did it was, again, here, 2nd fret, on get that B note, D, E, G, and really right there, I've got 3 of the triad notes there, and then I've got an E, B, D, and G. That's basically the G triad. Then I do that F because I want, this is the, I want to highlight that whole flat 3 thing going. But then I want a strong resolution of the G because we're kind of at the button of this phrase. It's like the end, put a button on it. That's just a thing musicians say. But it's kind of an American thing, I'm sure. But you basically are making it more final sounding. Okay? 5-1, because that doesn't sound like 5. D minor to G isn't as strong a resolution. It's still a resolution, still a 5-1 relationship, but it's not nearly as strong as D to G, or D7 is stronger than D to G. Because you've got, if you notice these 2 notes, okay, on D7, play D7 for me. So it's open, second, first, and second, top 4 strings. You play the top 2 strings, you have the first fret and second fret, and that's the tritone. It's also the guide tones of the D7. It's the 7th and the 3rd. And that that C wants to go down to B, and the F sharp wants to resolve up to G. Check it out. All right? That's called voice leading. And that's really good voice leading because you like here the soprano is going la la, and the alto is going la la. You've got it's really interesting voice leading. Whereas instead of going la, 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 parallel motion is boring. But it's all over rock and roll, right? I don't want to play it because I don't want to get copyright infringement. But that's all just, it's all stacked 4ths and 5ths. And so it breaks all the rules of interesting voice leading. Okay, so one more time through this phrase. When you see that natural sign, that's when you know we're in. And when you see the sharp or nothing, that's when you know you're in the key of mixolydian versus G major. Now, one note also just to reiterate that point I made earlier about accidentals only lasting as long as the bar. That light I'm washed out. What is the deal here? I get rid of the direct light. It's weird. No, that's too dark now. I think I need balance. Let me open this one up. Still, I'm awful bright. Sorry about that. And I don't mean mentally. But the accidental, like in the second bar, that F, even though there's not another F in that bar, that F natural sign lasts the entire bar. But you'll notice in the next bar after that, I had to write another natural sign because that natural sign is no longer any good. Okay? So try to point to this. The natural sign right here goes all the way to the end of this bar, and then the bar, everything resets to the key of G. Okay? So now that we're reset to the key of G, we go, oh, I've got a natural sign. Well, then why did we need to put a sharp sign there? Because I want an F sharp, and the natural sign would last all the way to the end of this bar unless I put that sharp sign there. In case you were wondering, that's called music notation, and that's standard notation practices. Okay? Oh, I do. Yeah, you can. I'm wearing pants. Someday, the day I want to get kicked off of YouTube is the day I go pants free. Okay, let's see. I'm missing something here. Remind me. Let's see. Streetwise. What are you talking about? I'm already like this video firstly. Then watch. Oh, sorry. And then the band killed them with their own shoes. Oh, sorry. All right, so, okay, I'm going to delete this, and we're going to drop in the third phrase. Okay, remove, yes. And again, this is my song, Flipping Off the Parents, which was named Monday. We named it Monday. It was a shorter title. The long title was G major is like bringing your parents' breakfast in bed, and G mixolydian is like flipping off your parents or something to that effect, right? All right, let me grab this third step. Okay, and now melodically, I'm trying to take it up. So I'm trying to make sure that, you know, again, when I'm writing these melodies, it's really, I'm trying to be as instructive as possible, right? I'm trying to make sure that we're kind of learning the whole, we're using the whole fretboard, you know, all the strings working our way up and down. So I got to angle this down again. Okay, now I'm going, so. That's the phrase. And it's really kind of more haunting, you know, the mixolydian. See, we got the light, we got the wind blowing the trees. There we go. Figure it out. Okay. So you can see that where the mixolydian kind of has a more haunting sound, a little more mysterious sound, kind of like what's your Sham said, you know, kind of sounds like Indian music. Yeah, it kind of almost has a kind of an exotic sound to it. All right. Basically, to an American, anything Indian's going to sound exotic. Sham. To you, it's just your pop music. It's like Justin Bieber sounds exotic to someone in India, and it's like to us it's just pop music. And same with you, with your music too. Context is everything. Now, one of the things I want you to do, we're going to do together, is we're going to go ahead and clap out the rhythm here. You'll notice that melodically it kind of moves. It doesn't. There's no theme here, but I move the theme to the rhythm. So there's in the first 3 bars, the rhythm is the same, okay? And basically it's 4 eighth notes, but the 4th eighth note is tied to the 1st eighth note of the next grouping, which means that that 4th eighth note there is worth a quarter note. It's worth twice as long because it's being tied to it. You'll notice there's no tab number underneath it, right? Because it's held. So it's kind of, I could have inserted a quarter note there, but the reason you don't generally do that for music notation is you really want to see where the beats are. And if I put a quarter note there and had like 3 eighth notes, a quarter note, and 3 eighths notes, music, like for just reading really fast with your eye, sweep it across for your sight reading it, you might get thrown off and think, wait, how many beats in this bar? You know, that kind of thing. So basically, whenever you do notation, you like to do things in groups of 4s and 2s and 8s, okay? So the rhythm on this is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and. Clap along with me. Okay. Bum 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 bum. And 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and. So that 1 and 2 and, that's the quarter note, or that's the tied to 2 eighth notes. At least twice a week. Oh, hilarious. Add that. Yeah, add that. A little addendum there. Gary says a local comedian just compared his 2020 New Year's resolution to his 2021 New Year's resolution. 2020, improve wardrobe, dress for success. And 2021, wear pants at least twice a week. All right, so now that's the rhythmic theme that's going on here. The melodic theme, I start out with a G major scale, right? And then I go, it's finishing off do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay, so I'm going D, third fret of the 2nd string, open E string, 2nd fret, and G. And then that's the note I'm holding. And then right away I'm going to that F natural. And that sounds really cool, I think. It's like, right? Okay, I'm just kind of inserting the chords in there as well. All right. Okay, so that's that first phrase. Let's get it. We can stop there on that F note. Okay, so we have D, E, F sharp, G, F natural, E, D, F. Okay, and then the next phrase is I'm over the C chord. F, first fret, open, third, F again. And I go down to the C so that I can go to the 1/2 step down to get to that B. Boy, the wind is just blowing the trees around. I think it's a palm tree or something that's creating all the weird shade. All right. Palm trees aren't really good for a whole lot. They just tell us where to put our streets. You'll notice that in Los Angeles, wherever the palm trees grow in a straight line, they tend to put a street right down the middle of them. That's the only use I can think of. They don't provide shade. They don't have any kind of fruit or anything. Not the ones here. In Florida, they have coconuts, but not in California. Okay. So it's I guess God made palm trees in California so we know where to put our roads. That's all. I've told that to enough people. There's probably little kids out there going, wow, that's what they believe. Hey, I believed my cousin, when I was a little kid, he convinced me that the 4th of July was the day they discovered that light travels faster than sound. Just like, what difference does that make? But it's funny because I thought, yeah, that's, because of the fireworks. He's going, yeah, that's why we use fireworks. So fireworks celebrates the fact that the day that we discovered older cousins can be really mean. Okay, Starcaster. Was a Starcaster the kind of the Fender 335 model? Was that the hollow body 335? I mean the hollow body Stratocaster? Is that what the Starcaster was, if I remember? Oh, you can. Oh, in Florida you can eat the cabbage. Yeah. See, there's nothing growing on our palm trees. So, okay. So, second phrase, starting on the F. Okay. And then the next phrase is I go a little pentatonic here. Okay. Open B, 3rd fret, open G, E, and then 3rd fret. Okay. And then we sit on that note. So there's the 1, 2, and, or 1 and 2 and. Okay, so all of these are the first phrase. The second one is, and then we have, okay, so is the first note of the next phrase. So, open, 3rd fret, open, 3rd fret, and then first E. Okay, so that whole phrase technically could be G mixolydian. There's no F sharp in that. I didn't go like I did the first time, so you don't really have that G major thing. But most of this, except for the first, right here, the first 2 beats of this bar, the rest of this phrase could be thought of as G mixolydian. All right, it's all F naturals in there, no F sharps. Okay. But here, there's 1 F sharp right here, the 3rd beat. And when you do that, when I did that melodically, I run the risk of making it sound like the song is now in G mixolydian. That's part of the reason why I decided not to just teach on G mixolydian, but to teaching on the difference between G major and G mixolydian, because G mixolydian doesn't sound very exotic if it's the only scale you're playing in. Okay, if I played the whole jam, oops. If I play just in G mixolydian. I just played it in G mixolydian, which is cool. It's a great tool to have in your tool belt, in your tool chest. But if I only played in that, it doesn't sound as exotic. It stops sounding that way. It's funny how quickly your ear gets used to a certain sound of a certain scale, and it sounds less exotic. But if I were to go, you know, it's that juxtaposition between the major scale and the mixolydian scale that creates that interesting, exotic kind of bluesy sound, as it were. Okay, so okay, last phrase is going to be very much like the first phrase. So let me delete this. And again, you can go to the Discord. If you go to, it's not called Tom's Bookmarks anymore. Dennis, you changed it, and so I couldn't find it last night. I was like, oh no, did he accidentally delete Tom's Bookmarks? I was like, wait, what? So it's probably going to beep. I got to turn down. But, it's called Tom's Lesson PDFs, etc. Okay. So I said last night, what time was this? 8:25 p.m. So I don't know. Did anybody see it last night? So Dennis, at 8:25 my time, let's see, plus 8 hours. Oh, that would have been 4 in the morning for you. Yeah, you wouldn't have seen that. But you might have seen it in the morning. Oh, Shamba, C, B flat, O, C, B flat. Oh, oh, that's the chord progression for a song. That's interesting. Hey, Brian W., good to see you. Just got 4 dogs and a cat back from the fixer. Oh, no. Oh, that's right. You do rescue. You're a saint. All right. Oh, wait. I want to delete this. Sorry, I thought I did. Hold on. Remove. Yes. Okay. Now I'm going to drag in the last phrase from the screen grabs. Here we go. All right. Make it a little bit bigger, but it's the same as the first phrase we already did. Yeah, and I'm not thrilled with that melodic idea. I kind of wanted to go or something like that, but then that was a different scale, and I didn't want to throw too much at you. Right? That sounds pretty cool. It's also kind of awkward to play. That's easier. All right, and I'm trying to use pure alternating picking, like when I was doing that phrase. When I was doing that, when I have those bum, 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 that's an upstroke, and then the next note should be an upstroke too, so I didn't point that out, I meant to. I'm not writing picking direction on this. You can do that. It's a lot of work. You have to drag it in for each note individually. It's a pain. It's like doing pizzicato marks. You got to drag the dot on for each note. I wish I had probably Sibelius has one where you can go, hey, I'm doing a bunch of notes in pizzicato, and you can like highlight them and pitch them all. But I don't think you can do that with Finale, or not the version of Finale I have anyway. Oh dang. Hey Sam, that's awesome. I've been calling friends, old friends and friends, just to see how they're doing. Depression is running high in these times, and so I'm just calling to make sure people are doing okay. So I try to call somebody every week, or 2 guys every week. Okay, so we've already done that, all right, and that's pretty simple. Half of the notes of the open G. So then here's the last phrase is 2nd fret on the 5th string, open D, 2nd fret, open G, then 2nd fret, okay? So we got right up the G pentatonic. Right up like the second week of lessons we did the pentatonics. Okay. That very top scale right there. We're basically just heading right up that. And that G pentatonic is inside of the G major scale. G major scale is a 7-note scale. Pentatonic just takes away 2 of those notes. So pentatonic scale is a more empty, hollow sounding scale than the major scale. Okay. All right. And then I go right to that mixolydian note. The F, the only note that's the difference between G major and G mixolydian is the difference between the F sharp and the F natural. So that's the note I grab as soon as I can, just to imply that I'm in mixolydian. Again, the song was specifically written for, oops, hey, everybody take a sip. I dropped the pick. That's a sippable offense. Cheers. But anyway, get to that F sharp, right away, so that, or F natural, so we can have that mixolydian sound. Okay, so there's the flipping off your parents, and again, it's fun. It's a fun little tune. I wouldn't like do a bluegrass show maybe using it. I might. I don't know. Let me play it again, and I'll play it. Let me play it at slow tempo. Where am I? Oh yeah. Okay, I'm gonna close this one. All right, I'm gonna play it. Well, slow. By slow, I mean 100 beats per minute. So this is the default tempo for the bluegrass jam track. This is what it loads at. Oh, and that track. Do I still have that loaded here? 1, 2, 3. I think that's what this is. Yeah. All right. Do it again. Get that G string to ring out. I messed up. That's the phrase. Let me bump it up to 125. 1.25 takes it from the tempo 100 to 125. 1, 2, 3. I messed up. I keep getting that phrase wrong. Let me turn it up a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to take it to 150, all right? It gets quieter when you... Okay, here we go. So we can do it. 1, 2, 3. Got it right that time. All right, let's try 175. Take care, Jim. Yeah, I messed up, but that's, yeah, okay. All right, you want to hear 200? Let's see if I can do 200. Oh my goodness. All right, let me wipe off my hands. Yeah, looks like faster. Gotta wipe off my hands, they're getting sweaty. All right, you ready? Let's see if I can do this. This is, of all four of these though, this is probably the easiest one to execute. Okay, just so you know. Of all four of these, this is probably the easiest. 300 feet. It doesn't go that high. I'd have to take, I could take the 121 up to 240, but okay. I don't know if I could do that. 1, 2, 3. Dang it. I gotta start again. I'm reading the music too, so it's like that. It's good. It's good for me, but 1, 2, 3. God. You just like seeing me fail. Welcome to my wife's world. Bye, everyone. Bye, Margaret. Okay, yeah, you got some practicing to do. Yeah, so again, and these exercise, these songs are really kind of pseudo. They're studies. Remember, we talked about studios, etudes. Those are just fancy. Etude, I think, is French for study. In classical music, it's very, very common to have. It's very, very common to have studies, and it's occasionally common to have a study become an actual piece that people are familiar with. A lot of Bach etudes and even Beethoven etudes became very, very famous pieces, mainly because if you think about it, when prior to the ability to record music, the only way you could have music spread, people know a lot of music, is to print it and to have people read it. So back, 100 years ago, everybody had a piano in their house. That was a pretty standard thing to have a piano. And so, every person basically learned how to read music, particularly girls. I mean, I don't know if you watch any Jane Austen or Dickens, the girls all knew how to play piano. But, there would be varying degrees of proficiency, obviously. But every household would have a beginner pianist or an intermediate pianist, and then maybe some people would get better. But that meant that the pieces that were easy for intermediate players to play were often etudes and studies, and those are the ones that people got familiar with. And so, you kind of what you end up hearing is actually something that was designed to teach someone how to play. See you, Paul. Good to see you. How many instruments can I play? Well, can I play? I play. Let's see. I play acoustic and electric 6 and 12 strings. So there's 4, right? Classical guitar, flamenco guitar, bass 6 string or bass 5 string. I play mandolin, banjo. I do have a Schwarmendal, and I do have a tempura. I have a tempura Schwarmendal combination. Here, check this out. So let's see if I can go. Let's see. Go to YouTube and enter my name, Tom Strahle, and tempura maybe tempura. Is that how I spell it? No, let's see. Schwarmendal. I think that's how you. Where is it? I should check out this video. I never noticed this one before. Hold on. I'm just going to go to my content and see if I can find it here. Schwar. Oh, is it just SWR? Ah, here it is. Okay, so check this thing out. This is pretty cool. Where's the... Oh, here it is. Link. Copy. How many views does this have? So you can check this out. I don't really play this, but basically, a Schwarmendal, when you hear it, you'll go, "Oh, that's like from Strawberry Fields Forever," or whatever. This thing actually, it's got 228 views in the last 28 days. So it still gets views. I think people are interested in it. I put a link in there where you could buy it. The guy was really cool. That sold it to me. He makes them in India. And it's like 2 instruments in one. It's not legit necessarily, but it certainly covers some bases for sounds. But I also play dobro and lap steel guitar. I'm not a legend. I'm a legend in my spare time. I'm a legend in my own mind. However, there's the Discord. Thank you, Dennis. So yeah, it's basically I went on about a 10-year tear where every year I would buy a new instrument and learn it, like banjo. I play the ukulele too. I bought a ukulele, I bought a banjo, I bought a mandolin, I bought a lap steel, I bought a dobro, I bought, every year I would try to add a new instrument. 12 string, every year I try to add a new instrument to my arsenal. Mainly just to give, I work for composers, I work for record producers, I work, and then I work for production companies producing music for TV and stuff. Basically, I try to give them as many flavors, and 99% of the time I can get an instrument good enough to do what they need me to do. There's been times in fact, probably the first time I've done it in a long time, I got a call for a new composer that I'd never worked with before, and love working for new composers because if they're busy and you impress them and they like your work flow and work ethic or whatever, and the quality of your work, obviously, that's a given. Then you've just added another client. You can't have too many clients, or I guess you could, but I don't. I can't yet. I'm not there yet. And so he wanted some banjo, and I said, well, can I hear it first? And he sent me what he wanted, and he actually did a really good job of creating the banjo using MIDI instruments, using MIDI banjo. And he goes, this is what I want. And I'm like, yeah, unfortunately, that's beyond my skill. It's way too fast for me. I couldn't play that fast. But I gave him a couple numbers, and I think they went with somebody. I followed up in the hopes of trying to make sure that they kept me in mind for other instruments. And they replied, which was great, his assistant, but basically saying that they got someone else to do it. So, and that was the end of the email. Thank you for your recommendation. So, anyway, oh dang, Kane, you're COVID-19 positive. Well, I had to take last weekend off from church because we were exposed to someone with COVID-19. I haven't gotten tested or anything. They said they would pay to have tested, but I'm feeling fine, and I don't come in contact with anybody anyway, just me and my wife. So my kids, but they're not here right now. And Alex was also exposed, so we both had to take the weekend off. But this coming weekend, we're scheduled to play, I think. So, and we wear masks and we socially distance, so it's not like, and my sister had it. She was in the hospital, but she got it after having pneumonia, and so they gave it to her at the hospital when she went in for pneumonia, or something like that. I don't know. Is she on right now? I don't think she's on. Oh, you're all right, Addie. We're kind of finishing up now. Oh yeah, a bit of flamenco. All right. Let me see. I don't know if I'll get in trouble. Let me see. I can maybe play a little bit out of this book. The thing about flamenco guitar that's so interesting is this is almost anti-flamenco. To have a flamenco book, and I'll put a link to this book. It's actually a pretty good book, although it kind of gets in there pretty quick. But this is the first one. It gets in there it gets in there pretty quick, but there's tab, okay? And there's a full explanation of the different types of Rasgueados and things like that. And they do, and the fingerings are all in there. Let me find this on Amazon, and then I'll put a link here in case you want to get it. Because I think it's, I mean, with the one with the DVD, I think it's like maybe $30 or $20. This one, oh yeah, $30. Spiral bound, free delivery by Sunday. Okay, let me get a link here. There's a link to this book. And so, but flamenco is interesting in that it's really, flamenco guitar is 99% accompaniment. So you're really accompanying a singer and or a dancer and castanets, right? You know, and they have metal taps on their shoes, so it really kind of like is really loud. And so that's why flamenco players play so hard, and the technique that they use is very different than classical. Like in classical guitar, when you're playing a scale fast, you want to, right? I'm not sitting properly. Hold on. No, wait, I went the wrong way. I want to go higher. My engineering brain turned off there for a second there. Okay. But yeah, you know, you use what's called through strokes. You pluck over the string. You know, you pluck over the string below it. You don't pluck into it. See, that's a rest stroke. When I'm playing, if I rest my finger on the next string, that's a rest stroke, and that's for volume, but not for speed. For speed, you do a through stroke, because when you do a rest stroke, you have to, you know, it's harder to dig out. You're digging yourself a deeper hole, essentially. So you got to climb out of a deeper hole. Okay. So we got like. Now, I love doing tremolo picking on the top string, but it's really hard. We were talking about the, what is it? Recuerdos de la Alhambra, whatever. That thing is hard because you're doing a tremolo on a second string, and it's really hard to kind of keep your fingers in there. This is a flamenco guitar. This is a Ramirez flamenco. And it's a lighter wood. See, I forget the name of the wood that's used. It's also narrower. It also has you can't see it, but it has plastic pick guards. Maybe you can see it, but there's actually clear plexiglass pick guards because you do the golpes, which is the hitting the string, hitting the top of the guitar at the same time you hit the, again, the percussive elements to keep beats going. Daru, no, I almost always, I should bring the stool, that footstool with me to sessions, because what I end up doing is I always end up like resting my left foot on my right foot or my right foot on my left foot, and I end up hurting it. Like basically I stand on my ankle when I'm in the studio. So I do, it's cypress, thank you, Sam. And the top I think is spruce. It sounds like there's something in there. Dust bunnies. So basically, like the, you know, like this very simple lessons. It's very like, you know, like this kind of stuff, right? And it's like, let's see. It's like a lot of notes played with a thumbnail. Again, rest strokes, not through. So you would think that flamenco players would be like, oh, you're going to be playing really slow, you know, because you're using all these rest strokes. But it's totally the opposite. It's like, man, they are the fastest players. So they break all the rules. And a lot of melodic minor, you know, the A minor or harmonic minor. So yeah, that's you know, and then one of the things too, they play A like this, which is really interesting. So I'm borrowing these two notes here with so it's open, and then I'm borrowing the second fret of the fourth string and third string with my first finger, and getting my second finger there to get the C sharp. It's so that these two fingers are available, so they can do things like that. And then the Rasgueados, those are these things. That's a Rasgueado. So basically, I'm just going pinky second, or pinky third, second, first, like that, right? And everybody can kind of do that one. Or sometimes you get the thumb at the end. And I was told do slow, and you don't want you want to go fast right away, but you do actually want to. So, and the one that when I did it 2 times in a row the first time, which is this, it's pinky, third, second, first, and then first. That's 5 beats, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When the first time I did it 2 times in a row, I was like, oh my God, I did it, you know. And for me, it was one of those things where, you know, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. It's kind of like, you feel like that as you get older, there's this ramp off. I feel like, I'm never going to learn to ice skate or snow ski or something like that, right? But at least with a guitar in my hand, I can learn new things. And I feel like I still can have the ability to learn new stuff. I don't know when that's going to end. My whole YouTube existence is based on the whole notion that, sure, you're 70 years old, but you can still take up the guitar. Now, can you play this? No, probably not, or maybe not. But you just never know. I mean, if you're really, but, I don't know. At 70 years old, do you want to spend 8 hours a day practicing guitar? Probably not going to happen. No, but Sam, I didn't. I did subscribe to him, and so I followed him. So he'll probably show up in my feed. Hopefully, I'll try to check him out. I did order yesterday a Greek bouzouki, so I got a Greek bouzouki coming probably in 3 or 4 weeks from Greece. So I wanted to spend some money in Greece because I figured they're really hurting in the COVID business era. I'm gonna have a Stroopwafel. These things are amazing. So good. All right. Not a very good breakfast though. Kind of tastes like a breakfast cereal. Basically like cinnamon, caramel, and waffles. 140 calories. How many? 4 of those. Wow. A lot of fat. Well, no, not too much. Yeah, it's a bit of fat. 20 grams of carbs. Sugar's 12 grams of sugar. Yikes. Yeah. It's a small bag. It won't last long. Yes, a 4-string bouzouki.
The tuning is basically a whole step down from a guitar. I think it's C, F, A, and D. So it'll be fairly easy for me to read read music on. Because I always leave instruments. That's the thing. Where did Sham? One of the things when I do learn those instruments, a trick of the session guitar players of old, like Tommy Tedesco, would be to tune the mandolin like a guitar, tune the banjo like a guitar, tune the whatever like a guitar. Oud. Oud's another instrument. Lute. I play oud and lute. Like I said, I ordered a tumbi. So we'll see if I can get that down. I don't know. We'll see. I think I just ordered one off of like a cheap one. So we'll see. It may be too cheap. It may be one of those things you hang on the wall but you don't play. We'll see. It's got a friction tuner, which is the one-to-one tuner like on a oud. But I do have some tricks to make those stick better. I've got some stickum that I use on those things so that when you turn them, you leave them in a place, they tend to stay there. I also I'll take off the tuner and kind of rough it up with some sandpaper so there's more wood on wood kind of roughage, and you could take the sandpaper and put it inside the hole too, just get it a little bit rougher. If it gets too polished, it'll slip. So, because a tuba is going to be one steel string mounted to a little teeny drum head. It's going to be about that big. It's a little tiny instrument. It's really cute. Oh, kalimba. Yeah, I got kalimba. Let's see. This one's actually hard to play because the tines are so close together. This is one my mom brought back for me from Africa when I was a kid. And I actually use this one more because to me it sounds far more legit. So that one's really cool. So I actually do play them every now and then. I did them on a movie last year. So let's see, Drew, what did you say? Drew. Yes, I agree. Drew, I agree 100%. Think about how many writers and composers. I mean, John Williams. He's 82 and he was still doing Star Wars. He retired now officially, but yeah, we'll see. Hopefully that doesn't hurt him at all because we were watching Harry Potter. The kids were watching Harry Potter over Christmas, and this music is so good and so hard. If you go to YouTube and enter like Harry Potter, John Williams, and then scores, you can find videos where you can watch the score go by, and the string parts on that, it's like I'm out. I mean, I do studio work, but those string players in London, it's a London Philharmonic that do those sessions, the sight reading. Well, and the thing was on some of the Harry Potter stuff, they actually sent the score in advance, which they never do. In fact, the contractor and orchestrator, or the contractor and conductor said, no, just we'll see it when we do it. And John Williams people here in the States said, yeah, no, you maybe want to take a look at this. And they were so glad they did because it was like, oh my gosh. And then the Celeste part that is so prevalent throughout Harry Potter's themes is not playable on the Celeste. So that is actually a synthesizer. It's very rare that there's any synth in John Williams' scores, but they had to use, because he was writing these parts that were just way too fast to play on a Celeste. And so, because Celeste, it's like a percussion instrument. It's played like a piano, but you're making hammers hit bells, I think, is how it works. And so it's very, very mechanical. And so there's a very restriction of how fast you can actually play it. So, yeah, B.B. King is great. Oh no, I love B.B. King. He was a rock star. I mean, he was I'm not sure where the time thing came between him and Elvis because he lived a lot longer than Elvis did. But women were throwing things, I won't say what, at him back in the day, just like Elvis. But I'm not sure who it happened to first. But he was, he had the ability to play and to sing and to be, to be an artist and to write, and so he was kind of a triple threat there. Even Elvis didn't mostly write his own music. I mean, he did some, but not all of it. And so, and Elvis didn't really play anything. He just was a singer. He was an artist. He was he was a face. He was and amazing, but just it was totally different. But yeah, B.B. King's great. I love B.B. King. We talked about him a lot because we were doing, I call it the happy pentatonic scale, or happy minor pentatonic, or whatever, the minor 6 pentatonic that Holly kept seeing as meth 6, major 6, or whatever it was. Was it minor? Yeah, major 6 pentatonic, meth pentatonic. Fillmore, dang, you saw? Yeah, I never saw him live. I haven't gone to see. I haven't seen a lot of people live. For one thing, shows not, even though you see those posters like you can see so and so for $7 or whatever, and it's like, yeah, but in 1972, $7 was a fortune. I was 11. It took me a year to save $7. So yeah, so that wasn't going to happen. Of course, I wouldn't go to shows when I was 11 anyway. First show I ever went to, I think I was 13. My mom took me to see John Denver at Market Square Arena in Indianapolis. It doesn't exist anymore. In fact, Elvis's last show was at Market Square Arena, and that was his last live show was there, and then he died. Later. But oh, that's cool. Oh, you went to the Crossroads Festival. Oh, that's awesome. Yes, yeah. And part of the problem too, the other problem with me with going to shows is that if it's a good show, I want to go home and start writing and practicing, or I want to quit guitar. If it's a bad show, I want to get up there and show them how it's done. So it's tough. And so it's a little hard. I mean, I think for someone who's used to being, I don't want to say center of attention, I am right here. But for someone who's used to being on stage, it's always hard to be in the audience. I don't know how many of you feel that way, maybe in your profession. It's like whatever you do for a living, it's difficult to watch other people do that. So we got to 43. We're not really killing it here with the live view, but we got 35. We've been really consistent here. And so so I don't go to a lot of shows. I mean, I can probably count the lot, and half the time when I'm going to shows, it's someone's taking me. Alex took me to. No, I may have paid for. I don't know if he paid for Radiohead or I did. Alex, you're not watching, are you? I think he paid for Radiohead. I don't remember. I may have paid him back. But Radiohead was great because it was, well, for one thing, it was Radiohead. But I mean, the ticket price wasn't scalper's price. They don't allow scalpers. You have to buy the tickets from them, and that you have to pick it up with your ID at their show. So you cannot resell it. There were people doing it. Like there were people picking up their tickets and then immediately going somewhere and handing it to someone through a fence. I saw them doing that. But that's a pain. If you're gonna scalp a ticket, that means you got to show up at the show, pick up your ticket, and meet with the person that bought your ticket. So I saw one person doing it. Alex took me to see Fleetwood Mac at with the original lineup, which was great. Although at the end they did like some early Mac, and it was like a jam session. It was like watching Grateful Dead, and people were leaving. Let's just put it that way. They did all their hits at the beginning of the show. I did see Justin Bieber once. He got me really good seats for one show. And if he tours again, I'm sure I'll go again, hopefully to hear some of my music. Hey, Easy, what's going on? Let's see. I'm trying to think of what other shows I've seen. I saw Dave Matthews, and I only saw that because someone invited me and they had an extra ticket, so I went with them. Saw Spinal Tap, same thing, which, neither one, although I might have bought a ticket for Spinal Tap, but I never would have bought a ticket for Dave Matthews. It was a good show, but it was just funny because once the warm-up band, and I forget who it was, the warm-up artist was, but once Dave, this was at the Staples in LA, and this is before weed was even legal medicinally. Once Dave Matthews got in, we were in a nosebleed section. You could just see the Staples Arena just kind of fill up with smoke. Slowly, the smoke just kept going up and up and up. Finally got to us, and you're just in a cloud. It was like couldn't see the stage. It was lame. Let's see. Gosh, yeah. I mean, I saw. I went with my friend Rick Bennick, who was a big influence on me. In Indianapolis, he could get an indie show for free because he was a rock star. So he would just show up and they would let him hang out backstage. So I went with him and I saw Alice Cooper, met Alice Cooper back in the 70s. Gosh, I'm trying to think. Even in the 80s, like when I was really into like bands that were like the Police and stuff, I never saw the Police live. No, I've never seen Paul McCartney live. I have seen U2 twice. Again, because a friend of mine managed their guest list. So we were able to get like third row center seats for face value. Now what U2 does, I don't know if they still do it, but they did back in the 80s and 90s. They would set aside 1,000 seats for guests at every show. But the guests, no matter who they were, didn't matter how famous they were, they had to pay face value on the ticket. So if the ticket price was $55, they had to pay $55 and they had 1,000 of those. And so there would be $55,000 coming in and U2 would donate that to a local charity in every city in that city. So that was really cool. So, we knew that we were getting great seats and backstage passes and we were getting, the money was going to charity. So that was cool. So it was worth it. So I saw them a couple times. Let's see. Oh, keep this. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the intro channel is just try to limit it to intro stuff. There's all sorts of other places you can put like chats and stuff like that or links to videos. Well, they did. Catherine, the Police did come out again, right? The second tour, but I'm assuming you're saying you saw the first. My sister saw a lot of shows. Both of my sisters went to a lot of shows. And they were more into that. Like I said, I just wasn't. I don't know. Now, when I was a kid, when I was like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, there were some bars, I guess you could say on the wrong side of town in Indianapolis. But that's where all the great jazz artists were. So I used to sneak into this one bar, this club in Indianapolis. I was totally underage and I didn't drink. So it wasn't like I was going to technically I would have gotten them in trouble, but I used to go see Jimmy Smith, the organist, play a lot. Because Jimmy Smith, every time he came to town, he'd have an amazing guitar player with him. He launched a lot of guitar players' careers. Because keep in mind, Jimmy Smith is an organist, and he played bass with his feet. So it was organ, guitar, and drums, and that was usually all he had. It was a trio. And so I saw Jimmy Smith probably 5 times when I was a kid. And I also would go to anytime someone like Tal Farlow or Herb Ellis or I never saw Joe Pass, but I saw Herb Ellis and Tal Farlow, a bunch of like solo jazz guitar, because I was a jazz snob when I was in high school and college. I would go see them play, so it would just be, and I could sit this far from. And I've seen a lot of guitar players like that, Carl Verheyen and Frank Gambale, and in LA in different club settings, seen a lot of that kind of stuff. But as far as the big shows, yeah. Alice Cooper is a cool guy, actually. I met him, and I was like amazed at how skinny he was. And I went, that guy's on heroin. And he's actually not. I think he's totally been clean his whole life. He's never really been into drugs at all. Oh, that's funny. Johnny Depp sang with him. Yeah, Johnny Depp plays guitar and sings. Who did I see at? I did go see because a friend of mine was playing guitar for. Who's the guy that did Sling Blade? That guy, that actor, Billy Bob Thornton. So Billy Bob Thornton's an artist too, and so I saw Billy Bob Thornton play at a big club in LA because my friend was playing guitar. Oh, Alice Cooper was born in Detroit. Yes, a lot of people were born in Detroit, huh? Yeah, Sam, the Discord link you posted on BB King they might move it over, or you might have to move it over to another thing. Yeah, now I used to spend summers in Michigan, so I know Detroit a little bit, but mostly the other side in upper state, up here in Michigan. Everybody uses the hand, not the Upper Peninsula though. Wait, there, like that, yeah. And we used to go to Pentwater every summer for like a week or two back. Gosh, we did that for almost 15 years. 1999 to 2017. Let's see. What else? Oh, it's been 2 hours. I should probably log off. Sorry about that. Hilarious to unpin the message. All right. So yeah, we're sitting at 35. We're doing good. Yeah, Bruce, it's crazy. It's been the channel has been kind of blowing up. Let's see. Go to my analytics. See where we're at right now. Yeah, 15,000 views right now in the last 20 or 48 hours. It says that, yeah, so 87,165. So, yeah, views are up 22%, watch time's up 26%, and revenue's up 47%, which is cool. So, but the subscribers went by 87,000 like 2 days ago, and it's already to 165. So we could see 90,000 by the end of January, maybe. I don't know. It says 1,829 in the last 28 days. That's pretty crazy. Well, now, Eddie, I forget, where do you live? Are you in Germany? I forget. You said, but I can't remember. Now, were you born and raised in the U.S. or you lived there for a while, or lived here for a while? Drummond Island. Oh, okay. Is that that's where you live? Oh, Drummond Island. I don't know where Drummond Island is. But yeah, there was a live chat where we talked about all the concerts we went to. It's pretty funny. Oh, you're in Scotland. I would love to visit Scotland, but I don't know if I could live there. I think I would freeze to death. But it looks gorgeous. And I do have some Scottish heritage, Scottish, Welsh, and Irish. I'm a mutt, and French, and Bohemian, believe it or not. Probably why I like gypsy jazz music so much. But yeah, I don't go to a lot of shows. I don't go to festivals. I just hate lines. I hate crowds. Oh, you're in the Upper Peninsula. Wow. Upper UP. That's crazy. How many Greeks are in the Upper Peninsula? I had a friend that was from Ishpeming, and I just remember that because of Ishpeming. Ishpeming is probably one of the biggest cities in the Upper Peninsula, but I just love the name Ishpeming. And and that's where the U.S. Is it the U.S. Skiing Hall of Fame is in Ishpeming, or the Downhill Skiing Hall of Fame is, or something like that? It's crazy. Izzy Mamba. Greetings from Germany. Hey, Germany. Oh, okay. Now, Addie, did you get married and move to Scotland, or a spouse thing? What made you? How did you end up in Scotland? And I need to go to Germany proper. I've only been to like the airports, like Frankfurt, and I don't count that when you're traveling. Like, I've been to Texas. I've been to the airport in Dallas. Yeah, you're not in Texas. That's not Texas. That doesn't count. I've been to New Jersey, but I've also been to Newark. I've actually taught a clinic in Rutherford, New Jersey, back in 99, 98, probably 98. Oh yeah. We have Scottish. Who's our resident Scott? He's not our resident. Scott hasn't been on the last couple days. Oh, Kathy, regarding recommendations for low money amp. Well, Kathy, did you put where was that? Catherine, I agree with. Oh wait, from Kathy. Okay, let me try to find that. Any suggestion for an inexpensive amp with this to go with the Squire Telly? No, it's fine. I don't mind talking about here. Black Star amps run on battery. Interesting. They sound pretty darn good. Yeah, I don't know Black Star amps, but yeah, it depends on the budget. But if you're looking at something under $200, I'm not really sure. I did do a video on you can't get this amp anymore, so why am I recommending it? But the Vox Pathfinder, but this amp for I think it was $99. I forget, maybe it was $129. We actually bought a couple of these, but the Vox amp wasn't bad. I thought the tremolo and the reverb on it, I think it had tremolo and reverb. I thought it sounded pretty darn good. So let me see what the entry level price is over at. I'll look up the Black Star too, but let me go. I'm on Amazon. And probably something like Sweetwater is a good place to get reviews and check out prices, things, and they're going to be the same as Amazon. This is just if I create a link, you can take a look at it. And if you buy it, then I make money, a lot of money. I get all of the money. Oh, Vox. Yeah. All right, let's see. Vox Pathfinder. See, now this one's got good reviews, but it doesn't show it as available, which is interesting. New from, yeah, so this is pretty much 10 watts. You might be able to, so it says $95. I mean, new from, I don't know if these are reputable sellers on Amazon, but it's weird. It says a little link here. It doesn't have it for sale from them, but it has free shipping, Brooks. Okay, well, pretty good ratings here. Great ratings at this place. 8th Street Music. This one has $10 shipping. Here's one for $85, but then $26 shipping. So, and it's got a 1-star rating. No positive. Okay. This one place, 8th Street Music, I don't know where they are, but they've got almost 22,000 ratings, 5 stars. That's so that's not a bad, that's basically the amp. Let's see. Got gain. So this one doesn't have reverb. But it does have a headphone out, so you can take it out. And there may be a in. Is there more than one in? Some of them have an in for like you can plug your phone into it, so you can have you can have music come into your headphones at the same time. The orange amp, there's a little orange amp that's kind of cute. If you like orange amps, pretty good ratings here. I can send you the link for this. I actually have the Vox one, but let's see what's the other one? Oh, the Black Star. Let me look that one up. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Hilarious. Oh, they're cheap. Yeah. Mini amp. Here's $69. Here's one a little bit more. Now you know they're going to be pretty cheesy. And here's one thing. I guarantee you, every one of these has a plastic input. All right. And the problem with the plastic inputs is they break. They're so easy to break. Although you can fix it. I think what I would do is if I was going to use those little amps a lot, like in studios, I would probably have someone. I would go and probably cost more than the amp, but have someone go in and replace the jack with a real jack, because the jacks on these are so cheap. Everything about the amp is cheap. But that's maybe the Black Star, the mini amp, and some of those run on batteries too, which are great. The Fender Champion 2021. This is probably not tube. You're not going to get a tube amp for in the $100 range. Here's a Fender. I'm not making any serious recommendations on these. What I'm doing is I'm just looking at the reviews. And so if it's 5 stars or 4.5 stars, then yeah, you could take a chance with that. Yeah, this one's almost 82% 5 stars. Pretty darn good for this Fender amp. Okay, that Black Star amp that I grabbed, what was that one? This one here, yeah, 2,700 reviews, 4.5. So you got 80% or 5-star review. That's pretty darn good. The Vox Pathfinder that I did, 1,600 ratings, 82% or 5-star. So, you know, like I said, the weakest thing about the super duper budget amps is the jack where you plug your cord in. Okay, so one thing you can try to do, I mean, because if you have your guitar on and I've done this with amp, and you walk away from the amp and you forget and you pull the amp over, you know, if you do that. Now, here's one good thing about all of those amps, every single one of them, I think the orange one too, the jacks are on the top. Okay, in the day, if they were on the front of the amp, like, okay, so you got the amp here, and you plug your guitar in the front, and the jack's in the front, and then you walk away and you pull it. Now, one thing that would happen is the cord would pull out. Okay, if the amp was heavy enough, you would just pull the cord out. It may pull out here, it may pull out at this side. But I've pulled amps over like this and then broken the cables and the input on amps. I've also pulled them when the top, like Vox amps have always been top loaded, you know. So if you're more likely to pull it over because it's not going to pull out straight up, but you're less likely to break the jack, I think. Well, but if you pull it over with the weight, you know, again, these are little amps, so they don't weigh very much. But that's just the main thing you want to be very aware of. Is like, be very ginger when you're plugging it in and taking it out. You could even just leave the cord plugged in, turn off the amp, and then unplug the guitar, okay? Or turn down the amp and unplug the guitar. Or get a cable that has a shut-off on it. But that way you just leave it always plugged in. And that way, because the plastic plugs, I almost did a hand signal that would have been inappropriate. But just the constant in and out, so to speak, of the jacks, you're going to wear out the jack, that's what she said. Yes. Oh, the original 50s. Yeah, that's a great amp. The combo. And that's top loaded too, right? The old Marshalls are top loaded. Those are like the Blues Breakers or something like that, if I'm thinking of the right one. Let's see. Oh, a Boss Katana. Okay. And then there's also like Yamaha makes these little amps that have 2 speakers, and they're not like for rocking out, but you can, like, it has effects in it and things like that. Excuse me. No. Don't worry, not COVID. Just that stupid cold cough, like crap on your lungs, on your cords. What is that stuff? That white stuff that comes out, it smells so nasty. It's just been sitting there on your vocal cords for like a year. I don't know. That's nasty. Anyway, you have an old vintage 35 Gibson. Yeah, Gibson's. Yeah, and Alex, we talked to Sam. You asked about that the other day on Christmas when Alex and I were demoing those pedals. I've never owned a Gibson amp, but they're pretty cool. And similar to the, you know, Gibson was trying to do kind of the Fender thing, but do their own thing. It's interesting. It's interesting. Like, Gibson tried to do Strat type guitars and failed miserably. They just didn't do them good. But they're great with the hollow body, like the 175s, the L5s, the 335s, the 125s, the Les Pauls. Like, those are their, you know, things. But they've never been able to get the amp thing down. Fender is great at doing the amp, and a Strat and a Tele and a Squier. I mean, a Jaguar and but they try to do some kind of Les Paul guitar and they fail miserably at that. And they can't do acoustics to save their lives. Now they have this acoustasonic or whatever, which is, you know, it's kind of cool or whatever. What's it called? The Strat acoustic, or I forget. I played it at the NAMM show and was hugely unimpressed, but I don't know. It's like I don't want to stand up in front of a bunch of people with this weird looking Strat acoustic. I'd rather play a real acoustic guitar. I need, you know, if I'm going to spend money on a guitar that I'm going to play live that's acoustic, I'm going to want something that I can use in the studio more, because I'm going to be in the studio more than I'm going to be live. And I want something that sounds good acoustically that I can use, even if it sounds crappy. But the acoustically can be a tool of some kind. But the acoustic sonic or whatever it's called, yeah, you know. And so, you know, Gibson's tried to do that, and you know, and Gibson does acoustic guitars pretty good. I feel like with acoustic, I've got a really good. Well, it's not out right now, but I got lucky with the Dove. It was the first acoustic I ever bought, and to be honest, it's the only one of the few Gibsons I've ever played that I thought sounded good. Most Gibsons I pick up, I just don't like the sound of, and I can tell they're Gibsons, if that makes any sense. But Martins, I can pick up a Martin and go, wow, that just sounds like a good guitar. A lot of Martins, not every Martin. Let's see. Gibson Lancer. Yep, Lancer was a very common GA35. Yep, that sounds totally familiar. Tube. Yeah, and there, you know, the tube thing brings in a whole nother element. I mean, my amp room, I have all these tube amps, and it's like I never use them because it's just kind of a pain. And keeping things tubed and all that. So, all right. So Friday is New Year's Day. I may very well, because it's not nobody's partying the night before, so I'm not going to be drunk. I may stay up to midnight, but that happens most nights anyway. And I'll hear a lot of fireworks in our neighborhood because that's a big thing. It's kind of stupid, but there'll be a lot of people shooting off fireworks on New Year's Eve. But we can, yes. Oh, it has a reverb and treble. Yeah. See, and that's kind of nice to have. I mean, for added bonus. But like I was showing you guys the reverb on that. If you watch that Christmas video we did, the reverb on the Sears Silvertone is heinous, but that tremolo is really beautiful. It's my favorite tremolo of all my amps. Married. Oh, no. Oh, you're 18. Oh, Addie. Okay. Sorry. A friend from Scotland got sick and I came here a year ago. And yeah, now I must stay here for 2 more months. Oh my gosh, you're kidding. Oh, yeah, that stinks. Oh, thank you. So how do you got to have your visa extended? Or, no, there's no visa to go to Scotland, but I mean, I guess they're making an exception. But dang. Okay. Well, you'll be back soon. Are you at least picking up a little bit of a Scottish accent? That's what I'd be trying to do. All right, so, oh, happy birthday in advance, Charlie. Oh, Charlie, happy birthday. Friday's your birthday? Yeah, well, we'll celebrate. So I'll probably go ahead and do Friday. We'll go over this some more. I may do a little exercise where I have you play in G major, and then I yell at you and say, play G mixolydian now. And now play G major and back and forth. And so you can try to kind of get used to going back and forth between those two scales. A Spark amp. I've never heard of a Spark amp. I'm not up on the latest anything. So I am going to, oh, well, let me look it up. Spark amp. Is that the company? Oh, okay. Spark Smart Guitar Amp with 10,000 tones. Wow. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Here it is if you want to check it out. And if you buy it, then it's not a recommendation. Although it's got 500 ratings, mostly positive, 4.5 stars. Here it is. Copy. If you buy it from this link, I do get a percentage of the sale. Our view count's going up, Bruce, and I haven't had a guitar in my hand for the last 30 minutes. What does that tell me? Oh, sad. So Friday we'll maybe go over the I'll play Flipping Off the Parents some more. Maybe we'll go over that again. But mainly just review the two scales, or the one scale really, the G mixolydian. But I may kind of do a little exercise where I have you go back and forth between G major and I can accompany you. I'll play, maybe I'll be the accompaniment. And you go back and forth between G major and G mixolydian. Okay, so we'll try to do that on. Oh yeah, because I'm not a big acoustic amp fan. I almost rather run it through the house PA, but I understand if you have to monitor yourself, that may be one way to do it. I like to hear the acoustic coming with the vocals and everything out of the same speaker, with the drums and everything. If I'm going to be leading worship. Now, I've never led worship with ears. I've only done it with monitors. And in other words, I haven't led worship in 15 years, so it's not going to happen. What size is that classical guitar have? It's standard size, but this is technically a flamenco, so it's a little narrower, slightly narrower. And the reason they do that, and the reason they use, shoots, Sam, was it you that told me? Cypress. Cypress is a harder wood than mahogany, and so and Brazilian rosewood. And so it has a more immediate sound out of it than a classical guitar. Classical guitars can be a little warmer and a little slower to respond. It's a we're talking very, very subtle thing here, but these are designed to combat, to battle with singers and dancers that have metal taps on their shoes. So, yeah, everybody be safe. Don't go crazy. New Year's week. Next New Year's is probably going to be insane. And so people are probably going to just go bat blank crazy next year. So, but anyway, yeah, the whole amp thing. I meant to do, and I keep putting it off. I need to probably I want to do a video, stocking stuffers for guitar players. Everything from capos to EBOs to slides, things like that. That maybe the guitar players in your life don't have, even finger picks and thumb picks or whatever, or expensive guitar picks. So I should have done a video like that before, because that would be a great way to kind of generate some revenue too, when people click on the links. Usually, my understanding is a flamenco guitar should be set up a little lower. It's a little buzzier, but I lowered mine too much. But I don't think that matters. You can set it up however you like it. So you could have it set up so that your flamenco and your classical, if you had one of each, would be identical. But I do think that flamenco does tend to be a little buzzier, so the action's a little lower. And classical guitar, you really do not want buzzing. Okay, and buzzing will not only kill your tone, buzzing will also kill your volume and your sustain. So volume and sustain are necessary for flamenco, so you really don't want it to be too low. I just lowered it too much, but I remember reading that they tend to have lower action. I think that's a little buzzy. So anyway, okay. Well, listen, I gotta go. I gotta get to work, you guys. I got a job. It's called playing a bunch of music. All right, and I'm gonna fuel myself with another Stroopwafel. So I think I'm saying that right. All right, Peter Anderson, God bless you. Thank you so much. Love seeing you all here. A lot of fun. Holly, thank you. Dennis, DeRue, Sam, Bruce, Izuya Mamba. Good to see you. I forget where you were from. Oh, you said Germany, I think. No. Addie, good to see you. Hopefully you'll get to come home soon. Tennessee. Oh my gosh. I'm back at you. That's hilarious, Addie. You're pretty funny for an 18-year-old. Seems like you've kind of had to resign yourself to having a sense of humor in your situation. Hopefully you'll get home soon. I've never been to Nashville, believe it or not. You would think I would, being a guitar player and everything, but no, I have a lot of friends there. Hook, Charlie, I don't know who's still on, but anyway, a lot of people are still on because we're actually at the high 45 right now. Why? It's like I've been signing off for the last 20 minutes and you guys are like joining up. So listen, so again, Friday I'm gonna go ahead Friday at 9 o'clock. I think if I'm not, I'll let you know on Discord. I'll say, hey, I'm not gonna make it. I won't do it later. Maybe we will do it later. Maybe I'll go at like 10 or 11 because I'm not gonna be able to do a lot of work that day. Although I'm expecting 2 different composers instead. They're gonna be sending me something soon. So I do know that. One is for Apex Legends because I do all the guitars on Apex Legends. Cheers. That's a sippable offense if I say that. And then another new game that I don't know the name of. I do know the name of, but I can't remember it. That Austin Wintry is doing. And Austin is an amazing composer. He did the music for the game Journey. If you've ever played Journey, it's really kind of very zen. Babar, good to see you. Hello. Rob from France. I'm sorry, I'm getting ready to sign off. Join us again on Friday. Turn on the hit the bell, and then just kind of stay close. I will try to go at 9. Maybe I'll delay it an hour or 2 just so that people can sleep it off if they did stay up late. But yeah, take a sip, and then yeah. So Gary, we hit on a lot of them. I dropped a pick. I used air quotes. I said the Apex Legend thing. We've hit on many of those. Yes, I played on Apex. All the guitars that you hear on Apex Legend, many of the basses, and a lot of the stuff that you think is weird noises and effects. That's me anyway. I make a lot of effecty guitar stuff sounds that don't sound like guitars. See if I have any here. Let's see if I find something I can pull up. These are devoid of the actual track, so you won't recognize it. But if you see me here, this and I try to name. I try to name the files. Some of them sometimes like normal. Some of them are like Deep Fox, Epic Texture, Wide Stutter, that kind of stuff. But then I'll name one like, dude, what's with that bass 6 player? So I don't know what this sounds like. I did it, when was this? December 1st, so it's been a month now. So there's a lot of effects there. The Deep Fox is one of my favorite sounds. I love this sound. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, this one's called Now I'm Just Trying to Piss You Off. That's what this file is called. Yeah, and then I do these loop things where I just layer and layer and layer, layer and layer. Let's see if I have any of those. Oh no, that's not here. Views. Let's see. Apex. Halloween. No, Robert Fripp. No. So that's what this is called. So that's all guitar, believe it or not. And so that's kind of, I really love working with this composer because he gives me a lot of creative licensing, to just create some crazy things that he can drop in. And his bosses love it. They're like, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. So, and it's all stereo and it sounds crazy. And then they'll do with like, I think he's actually doing, they're starting to do mixes. What's that called? The new Dolby Surround, which is not here, but it's here. It's above you. It's like this. I forget how many speakers it is, but I saw it at the NAMM show. He took me on a tour of the new Dolby stereo speaker setup that it's going to be in some of the Dolby theaters, and it's going to be it's a whole nother level. I mean, the placement too that they have now with the audience is just crazy precise. So they're getting it. But anyway, yeah. Sorry, Holly, you knocked your amp off the table. Yeah, so that's the kind of stuff I do for Apex, and so I'll be doing some more of that the next week or so, and then for I think it's on the Austin stuff. I listened to the demos we did for months ago, and for this game, and it seemed like to me it was mostly metal stuff, which is funny because last year or this year I did a lot of metal and a lot of oud and lute. And I just got the lute not that long ago, like 3 or 4 years ago. So it's when you get into like Sam, I just ordered that Greek bouzouki. I ordered it yesterday, and I will get it sometime in January. No hurry. In fact, I got an email. The guy said he's going to be running late. I said, don't worry about it. So I'm going to I get that next month. I got some new instruments coming. I got the fretless bass, which I showed you guys on, was that Monday I showed you. So that's a new instrument, and I will definitely use that. I'm always looking for new ways to make new sounds, different effects, things like that. Who was asking me about the instruments I play? I don't know if he's still here, from India, I think. Sham, it's just about paying the bills. I mean, I gave myself nothing to fall back on, and I moved to Los Angeles woefully unprepared to actually make a living. And that's part of the reason why it took me 20 plus years to actually get to the point where I was making a living. I moved here in 83. I started getting some cool work in the late 90s. So maybe 15, 16 years I started to actually get paid to teach clinics and things like that. And that was pretty cool. And then it was helpful when I started leading worship and playing guitar at Shepherd Church, because that moved me from Pasadena kind of focused to be more of the Valley, which is where so much music and TV and film stuff is done in the Valley. A lot of studios in Hollywood, but also in the Valley. And so it started to expose me to a whole new set of people, and that really started opening up things. So 2006 is when it really started to take off a little bit more for me. And so that's, from 1983 to 2006, that's 23 years of patience and putting in, School of Hard Knocks and still not making that much money in 2006. But having a lot of different instruments, having a lot of different skills. I did a video, it may be in my video on, it may be in that series of The Business of Making Music, about all the different jobs I've had. And I literally, everything from playing in a, guitar at a church, leading worship, to playing on records, to producing records, to, I made money doing, speaking of Sibelius and Finale, the software that I used to create this, the whole reason I can do this is because people were paying me to make charts for them. So, back in the 90s, I was making a living, not a living, but I would get, charge up per chart, whether, I don't know if it was, I forget what I charged, 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks per chart. And, the faster you get at it, the faster you make that money. First you're making like $5 an hour, then eventually you get to the point where you're, $20 an hour or $30 an hour because you get so good at it. So that's, so that's definitely, one of those things where, you just kind of keep learning things because you got to pay the bills, you got to feed your kids and all that. So I've been very fortunate, and so we'll see. Hopefully, I can keep doing it. We'll see. And YouTube is helping too. Like I said, you guys all help getting to do this, and I need to do a video about the YouTube stuff. We'll see. Okay, that I don't. I still need to do some work for this weekend. So anyway, I should sign off. God bless you guys. It's been 2.5 hours. Can't believe you put up with me that long. And have fun. Get some practice in today, and I'll see you on Friday. And I may go at 9. I may go at 10. I may go at 11. Probably 9. I'm guessing. I may keep the same routine. I'm not sure. But because I have no plans of staying up late. I don't know anybody that's doing anything. You can't have a party. That's impossible. So I guarantee there'll be fireworks. That may keep me up, but that's it. So God bless you guys. Talk to you soon. See you on Friday. Okay, bye-bye.